Welcome home, family and fellow citizens of the African Order. I'm here with another video, and the topic of this discussion is, after 30 years, where are we now? Well, first of all, let me say that I've been dealing with some health issues, nothing too serious, and that's why I haven't been on making a video the last week or so. But I'm fine, everything is good, and information I really want to get out and just wasn't able to. And I'm trying this week. I'm trying to catch up on some thoughts and opinions, and hopefully, like I say, put action to these words. I don't want to just sit up here and just talk just to talk. I question myself. I question the movement. I question the mentality of our people. How many videos do I have to make? How many indisputable points do I have to make before we as a people decide to consciously take an effort to take control of our way of life? Everything that we rely upon that governs over our comfort, our quality of life, is all in the hands of other people. We don't control not one resource, not one entity do we have full ownership and control over. There is no race of people on the planet that will live under these conditions. Even the people that's residing over your way of life right now, they will not trade places with you. And if the people that's presiding over you won't trade places with you, how do you find securement and prosperity up under their governing? I mean, how do you do that? But let me get to this video. Like I said, the topic of this conversation is, after 30 years, where are we now? Last week or so, it was Al Sharpton's 30th anniversary of his organization, National Action Network. And he had a big announcement on MSNBC, and he was saying, after 30 years, we still have a long way to go. How is that possible? How could it be possible that you could have an organization called National Action Network, and after 30 years of support, membership, being on TV, you still have a long way to go? I don't understand that. Are the people getting that money worth? 30 years of Al Not Too Sharpman, plus your support. What do you get? A big zero. Nothing. This man has accomplished nothing. No modernization of our social efforts. Here you got technology advancing everything around us. We used to put gas in cars. Now we're filling cars with electricity. How come we're not using these advancements to modernize our strategies, our tactics? Why not? Technology advances everything but our agenda. 30 years of National Action Network, and you still asking for jobs. You still marching, protesting, begging for jobs instead of creating them. Every time you got a member, I would look at him and be like, you know what? This guy's gonna get hungry. This guy's gonna get thirsty. This guy's going to require education. This guy's going to require health, and he's going to be willing to do work or chores or something to do it. Now, how could I, as a social leader, have him participate in an action that will guarantee him access to these essential needs and still maintain his dignity? Do I have this guy go out and go out and beg other people continuously for everything, and then they ration it out at their discretion? Or do I say, my last March, I had over 30,000 people, 50,000 people. I had a march that was 100,000 people. And we taken all these needs and necessities to other people to feel. You would think after 30 years, you would think of a way that you could feel this yourself. But you rather support Al, not too Sharpton. Al Sharpton, he sat up there and said we need federal laws, and I agree with him. But my thing is, you've had National Action Network for 30 years, and you have never had supported a political candidate that you had federal mandates on to get your support. You have never told Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, whoever you support for president, you never had any mandate for these candidates. And after 30 years, you got the nerve, the audacity to sit up here and say you need federal laws. The President of the United States is the president of all states. That's your federal laws right there. Whenever you support a political candidate for president of the United States, the laws and conditions that they should be held accountable to would apply to all states. So no matter where our people are at in this country, they'll have laws to protect and to protect their way of life. But like I said, Al Sharpton, he don't think like that. 30 years, no protection. Why? Because, like I say, no mandate. This is complete incompetence. You got incompetence in black leadership, and you got incompetence in the people that they elect in office. Here, Joe Biden is trying to push this infrastructure plan, and they're having a tough time negotiating or marketing his policy. He was talking about some human infrastructure. How do we tell the people what it is? Because all we keep hearing about is the cost. How do you market this to the people so you can get more support to put pressure on the politicians? Well, see, first of all, there should be no pressure on the politicians because the politicians should work for you. Any mandate, anything like that, the people should come to the people that represent them and tell them that's what they need, and it's up to the politicians to provide it. I shouldn't have to vote a person in the office. Then while they up there twiddling their thumbs, they up there arguing back and forth on what best to serve their constituents. If politics work like it's supposed to, the need should come from the people, and you elect people in office to provide these things. There's no pressure. There's no lobbying. There's no coercion. You shouldn't have to have a majority of the vote to get this thing passed. Everybody should be behind this. But y'all rather have politicians tell you what laws to go by, as opposed to you telling you what laws you would adhere to. But that's not the way I would do it. But But you want to hear my plan on human infrastructure? If I was Joe Biden or Al Sharpton and I had a thought of how to create human infrastructure, well, the first thing you have to do, you have to have a plan. And the plan would have to be to restore people to get back to the habits and ways that they had prior to the restoration. You can't restore people after the fact and still have the fracture that caused the reparation in the first place. You have to get the people back to a point prior to the restoration and then restore them from there. That means have a conversation around creating our own schools so we can teach our own children. Teach them in a way that they will learn in groups, would have to work together as a team. They each go home with their own assignment. And then when they come back to school, it's not just themselves that they have to rely on or depend on. They have their teammates that they're working with, because this assignment cannot be completed unless everybody participate. So when you at school now, if you go home, they give you homework, it's all up to you to do it. And if you go home, go back to school, don't nobody know you ain't do your homework. Ain't nobody else relying on you. But we change that setting and put these kids in like little groups and had them get used to working together as a unit. And then you continue this throughout the educational process. Then when they go to college, they'll do the same thing. Then when they come out of college, as opposed to sending them off as individuals to other businesses and institutions that's not serving our needs, we can create businesses and institutions that do serve our need, and then they will go straight to them, keeping our resources in-house. We will become the politics that we need to govern over our people. We shouldn't have to wait for somebody else to decide what's best for us. You have poverty-stricken communities for years, and only when it get to a dire strait do they choose to act. These things should be addressed soon as the population or the income level even get close to poverty. Adjustments should be made. But y'all didn't ask me. Y'all want to leave up to Al Sharpton. We would create our own laws that the people can adhere to, and then the governing body that will hold us accountable to it. There's 44 million people in this country that need education, jobs, politics, social infrastructure, bridge, roads, bathing. That's enough right there for us to create our own economic structure, our own value system. Here they got you valuing rocks and diamonds and metals, and y'all think that's money. I believe quality of life should be a value. Quality of life and determination of this quality should be a value. And the things that you do to obtain these things should support your way of life. Not no freaking worthless paper that you got in God you trust, and you doing everything outside. Don't get me started. When you get the people to adhere to this human infrastructure plan, because this is the behaviors that you were doing prior to the restoration. When we were enslaved, all these things were stopped. And now you're trying to get fractured people to come together and vote for individual efforts. If it ain't good for one person, then the other person won't do it. You have to get them all working together as a people, and we decide things as a community. That's how you have a human infrastructure plan. But like I say, you didn't ask me, you asked Not So Sharpman. But before I end this video, let me say this. After 30 years of National Action Network, what they call NAN, they don't need nan more dollar from you. They don't need nan more rally or march from you. And whatever Al Sharpton speak, he don't need nan more of your attention. 30 years of this nonsense, it's been 29 years too much. If you can't adhere to this, I don't know what else I can do to tell you, to get you to change your ways. It should be clear as day. I'm going to end this video here. And if you like this topic, please share it. And if you like this content, consider subscribing to this channel. And with this video, as with all my videos, it is for the complete restoration of my people. And I'll see you in my next message. Ashe.